Stream, spin, synchronize. Mastering the Omni-Channel Casino Continuum.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. As introduced, I'm Jonathan Petamaridis. I run a business called Kiproc. But let's have quick introductions down the line of my panelists, and then we'll dive straight into the subject matter at hand. So let's start with Marcel at the end, work our way down. Brief introduction, and specifically what brings you to Asia or your involvement in Asian gaming.
Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Marcel. I'm the CEO of Swiss Casinos. We are the largest operator in Switzerland. We operate land-based casino and online casinos. And Omnichannel is one of our big focuses. And to solve some of the issues and challenges we have with Omnichannel, we started to develop our own technology to bring the online content to the land-based casino. And here in Asia, we work together with Joe on that.
Okay. David?
Good morning. I'm David Carruthers.
Is that working?
Only 50 years in this industry. I live in Asia. I love Asia, and I have the claim that I was the first European guy to buy Asian businesses back in 2005. So I'm looking forward to giving you the benefit of Omnichannel before Omnichannel was allowed, technically, because it wasn't available.
Hey everyone, I'm Jack. I head up the APAC region, Optimove CRM. We help operators retain players using AI tools and personalization. We've been expanding in Asia for probably about the last 18 months to 2 years, working with a lot of Philippine operators and Asian clients. So I'm hoping to share some of that knowledge with you all today.
Thank you. And Joe?
Good morning, Magandang Umaga. I'm Joe Pisano from Jade Gaming. We operate sports betting, also land-based retail here, Sri Lanka. Our main focus at the moment is sports and fantasy products and moving into prediction products. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, can you turn the microphones up, please, because we can't hear a word. Thanks. I previously was based in Asia, so it brings me great joy to come back to the Philippines at a time where regulation is really setting a nice precedent for gaming in the region. And it gives us and the experts here a good opportunity to talk specifically about multi-channel gaming models and take insights from other parts of the world which might benefit those businesses. So, Joe, if I ask this first question to you, transitioning to a multi-channel model, in your experience, what are the first 3 foundational steps a Southeast Asian operator must make to move away from a silo operation?
Yeah, the problem most operators face when they talk about omni-channel, it's not about buying technology. A lot of them run out and will buy a platform, plug it in and say, now we're multi-channel. The current IRs or legacy businesses are built in silos. You have your casino division, your slot machine division. So rather than being acquisition-based, it's product-based.
Yeah.
So to be a true omni-channel operator, you need to move away from that model, from a product-based model, into an acquisition-type model. So your whole structure of your property needs to change. Then you can bring in your data, your player acquisition, your CRM.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most difficult part. The technology, and we're working with Marcel on some of the tech. The technology is available. It's the back of house that needs to be fixed first.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But David, can we take your input on the same question?
Well, I look at this as, first of all, it's a business opportunity. And the core element of every business is your brand. And the most important thing that builds your brand is your customer experience. So if you have the most beautiful land-based casino in the town, then you're halfway there. You need to build the most beautiful, customer-friendly, customer-accessible platform to allow the customer to have a similar experience across both verticals. And that includes service, incentives, integrity, player protection, financial compliance, and that extends to beyond the customer, to your employees, across every channel. It's an opportunity. There will be a new channel. The new channel might be virtual, it might be AI everything, who knows? But it's just about building a brand that delivers to the customer consistently across all verticals. Even before the internet, we had Omni-Channel, but it was different products. So in the betting shop, you had horse racing. In the betting shop, you had soccer. In the betting shop, you had a form of prediction markets, which we called other bets. It's just the same. It's nothing new. Good business practice will make you successful and sustainable.
And Marcel, you and I have delivered omni-channel experiences in casinos in Europe. What are your thoughts on those foundational steps? What foundational steps have you taken in the past that have really enabled that unified customer proposition?
Yeah, I agree with Joe and David. It's not technology that is the challenge that you have to solve, it's organizational. And what I experienced, very often there is a fear from people that are responsible to operate land-based casinos, or the fear people that are responsible for the online casino, that the other channel will take away revenue. And I think at the end, that's one of the most important challenges to solve. We really need to be able to show those management teams that they will benefit from each other. And data really helps to do that. What we did some tests where we invited online players to the land-based casinos, and we were able to show that through that visit with the physical environment, the lifetime of those players increased significantly in the online world, and that really helped to convince those people in charge that they see the value of omni-channel. And I think that's the first step. If your management teams don't believe in it, it's never going to happen.
I completely agree, and maybe we'll come back to this point because I think the people aspect is very important as an enabler. But Jack, anything you've seen in the market that you'd like to contribute here?
I think when you're talking about omni-channel experiences, we work more in the online space, but being able to understand who those players are as soon as they come into your online casino, and we speak a lot around AI tools and prediction AI tools at Optimove, and being able to understand, within that first 24 hours of a player depositing, whether a player is going to be a low-value player or a high-value player across the next year, and understanding that so that you can give the best omni-channel experience, not only via the channels, but the key experience to that player, whether you're giving them, a small bonus, or if they're a VIP, a high bonus, is super important. And I think bringing that from the land-based to online is, one of the main ways in which you can retain the player.
Thanks, Jack. Now, two of the gentlemen here are based here in Manila and have got great insights into the local market. So, David, if I direct this question to you first, are there any lessons or insights from the front runners in the market here from a multi-channel perspective that you could share with the audience? So I'm thinking of the likes of DigiPlus, who have got really good localized propositions, and probably the best example of unified product marketing that I've seen anywhere in the world in casino terms was actually at Solaire, who have got unified jackpots and market that particularly well. So, David, any opinions?
Well, I think it's very interesting that the biggest online public company in the Philippines, DigiPlus, is actually moving to have an omni-channel offering.
Yeah.
It's not by accident. It's because they see the opportunity in unifying player environments, and also they see the efficiencies in regulation, compliance, protection, and educating the customer to actually be able to do this game on the long term. And this is about the long term. You know, if you build a land-based casino, it's not something you build for 5 years. It's going to be here for 50 years or 100 years. Whereas an online platform, you know, it might last 5 minutes. And I think that that's good. It's good for the industry. It's not only just good for the customer to be able to go to the retail space, enjoy the product and games that they enjoy, but also have access to these games and products when they're unable to come to the retail space. But more importantly for me, having spent 50 years in this industry, it's great for the employee. This is now a business that provides careers. This is now a business that stimulates enterprise. This is now a business that is growing up. This is now a business that needs to be, and is increasingly becoming, respected. And that's very, very important.
Very powerful. Joe, any thoughts?
Yeah, here in the Philippines, at the moment, we're through our legal channels and through the industry's legal channels, we only represent 22% of the total market. 78% is going either outside the country or to illegal street channels. By building our omni-channel solutions and taking our products out to the people, that we can encourage responsible gaming, get the much needed taxes back into the government, and educate. You know, part of what we do is to educate people in gambling responsibly. And Omni-channel is a very important part of that, where we can actually take it to the street. And most of the Filipino people here, they understand, you know, out in the provinces, there's wedding, mashao, ending, that really, there's no responsible gaming there. They're corrupting the youth, and it's up to us to bring licensed credibility and responsible gaming to the population in that way. Yeah. And really the only way we can do that is through Omni-channel.
Yeah, I agree. They're very different worlds, and that's something that often gets thrown back. You know, the likes of the IRs who have got phenomenal casino premises but haven't got the expertise. They're, you know, the managing director is often given a mandate, take us into online, with limited budget, limited understanding of what that means, and often jump straight into trouble because you're partnering with the wrong partners. You're not setting up enough budget to hire the right people. And I want to hone in on that difference between the online world, where you're acquiring customers who are expensive. And Jack, if I aim this question towards you, the online world is significantly more advanced with customer segmentation, achieving hyper-personalization. How do you at Optimove and your clients make sure that the propositions are not generic, but very, very personalized to me as the player?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question. And I could definitely answer it in a number of different ways. I think going back to what David was saying about, say, you know, DigiPlus having a massive offering of fantasy, sportsbook, online casino, I think there's something in that. I think when you're moving to online and you're looking at a player and trying to categorize them, I think, what I see at Optimove is you talk a lot about technology, you talk a lot about features and AI, but really for me what it comes down to is looking at that player profile and seeing, okay, where are we targeting that player? Where are we acquiring that player into? And then you can move them about from the omni-channel from there. So for example, with the World Cup coming up, for example, you see a lot of acquisition around sportsbook players. And these could be new sportsbook players or regular sportsbook players on whatever operator it is. But then you look at how you can move them to other parts of the business. And you obviously go, fantasy, which is a low-cost acquisition model, or you try and move them to online casino where ideally you want to make more money. And we look at how that can be done using personalization. And typically we would look into segmentation for that and say, okay, if we have player A who's a sportsbook player, what is his profile? How can we move him across? And you'll typically look at, high risk, high reward players, those that are doing parlays or accumulators. You'll look at a certain age and demographic. You'll obviously make sure there's, safe gambling in place to make sure we're not moving anyone across that we shouldn't. And typically that would be a profile. Once you've got that, you would use your AI tools to predict, okay, is this a low value player? Is this a high value player? Is this player risk of churn? And then we would typically use, what we're seeing more now in the CRM space, is having APIs with platforms like ChatGPT or Claude, where now you can literally type into Claude saying, hey, build me out this segment of sportsbook players, find the high risk, high reward players, find the ones that are most likely to move to fantasy online casino, type that in as a prompt, and it will go into your CRM and move them across to online casino. And from there, you're also using AI to make sure you're targeting them on, if they're used to receiving email, they'll be receiving an email. If they're used to receiving an SMS, they'll be receiving an SMS. Because we have a whole new financial efficiency model that we can now use because of the advanced technologies that we have. So, I could spend all day answering that question, but I think that's a...
Yeah, we won't let you do that today. But we'll take the point because it's very important and actually phase it into the challenge of running these big multi-channel organizations is often that the data sits in silo. So you'll have various systems, component parts. You might have the casino management system, the slot system, the digital system, and none of them talk to one another. Marcel, how did you resolve that in your experience in Switzerland? And maybe we can take some comments from everybody on this.
Unfortunately, we haven't solved it. I think I have never heard somebody saying we solved it. So if somebody's here that solved it, let me know. I would like to learn. You did. No, but of course you could solve it, right? But it would cost you so much money. So you always, you cannot just replace your legacy system with a reasonable amount of investment. So what we really try to figure out is how we can connect some of the main systems. Sometimes we build the part in between by ourselves, or obviously there is technology that helps you to do so. But this is definitely a challenge, especially if you want to have it real time, which I think you absolutely need to have it. I mean, if something happens, if a player does something and you react to it 24 hours later, that just doesn't work. You need to react in the moment. And I think that real-time data need, that is really important. And we are still working on it, and I think it's a long journey, and it probably never ends, right? Because you're going to see an interesting product, an interesting system, and you want to connect it. So you're always going to be working on bringing your data together, so you have that single view of your customer.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. So, Joe, any suggestions, any further comments on this unified data? Guys, microphone.
Hello, good. We've been seeing the land-based revenue dropping amongst the IRs here for probably the past year. A few of them have been blaming the growth of the online. What I suggest is embrace online, integrate it into your operation, and that'll drive traffic. Run properly, that'll drive traffic back into your properties. You know, don't treat it as a competitor. Treat it as an acquisition tool, especially with sports betting. Sports betting is a player acquisition tool. It's a marketing tool that properties can use.
Yep.
One, to build their database. Two, to bring people into their property. They can bring the players in. It doesn't only enhance their revenue on the gaming side, but also, you know, people coming in now for World Cup, showing the World Cup, money's going to go into F&B and other products on the casino floor. There needs to be a change in thinking that, you know, we're not competing.
Yeah.
We need to bring it all together.
Yeah, the value of the customer is one, right?
It's one customer.
And ultimately, you're giving the customer choice. It doesn't matter if that customer only wants to play in retail, that's absolutely fine. If they only play in digital, that's absolutely fine too, but you give them the choice to play with you. If we take the UK for an example, most customers play, probably have 5 apps on their phone on average, and it's a share of wallet argument. Essentially, you guys as casino operators want to be one of those 5 apps, and if you're not, you're doing yourself as a business a disservice. Marcel, I want to come back to the data piece, because hopefully we can give the audience a couple of suggestions on how to proceed. And the way we did it in my previous experience was, as you say, focus on the data lake. So we invested significantly in a data lake. We invested £13 million, I think, top of my head, don't quote me, don't record this. edit. On the first single account and wallet proposition in a regulated casino group. And to Joe's point, the beauty of that is everybody thinks you're stealing the customers, you're taking the customers from retail to digital, but the true value was driving propositions so that they'd come back to venue. And once your GMs and your management see that your customers have increased their value, ideally they're being incentivized on a shared P&L. They can see the customer profit across all customer touch points, then you can win. And then you've got longevity. So, sorry, I'm not trying to steal the floor, but that importance of a unified single wallet, no, not about the wallet actually, it's more about the membership account layer. Wallets don't really matter, it's about having a single membership account and having a shared data lake to pull the information from, so that you can, as Jack does at Optimove, personalize those customer messages to drive them back into the venues. Obviously that mobile digital first proposition is important. Any key areas for you, Marcel and David, that you think really focus on bridging that gap, but that loyalty gap across channel? I think that single account is the glue, but there's layers to it. So what have you seen, Marcel and David?
Yes, I think you mentioned quickly one sentence which I really want to highlight, and I believe it's important: how you incentivize your people. It's nice if you see what's the value of a customer, but if you incentivize your GM of a certain property just on the GGR that he makes for that property, he doesn't have that view, that omni-channel view we want. So I think incentivization, or how you incentivize your management staff, is critical, and it should be on an omni-channel view. And on the loyalty, I think one of the biggest challenge we currently have is to provide a consistent experience. And that means something very, very different for a player that first came in contact with your brand in a land-based casino compared to a player that came in contact with your brand with an online casino. And I think the second group will increase over time. So my prediction is that in the future, most people that will walk into our land-based casino had an experience with online casino in general, or specifically with our online casino offering. Just very similar to what we experienced probably 2004 with poker. People got educated how to play poker with online casinos or with online poker, and then they enjoyed the game and they wanted to experience in real time. And I believe that's the only reason why we have poker today in the land-based casino. People got used to that and were not afraid to try it out online. And that's something we see actually now in our online casino. We see people that try the games out online that haven't played before and then want to come to the casino to experience the real thing. We have a high increase in demand on blackjack, which is not a simples game if you compare it to slot. And we believe this is because they have a chance to try that out online. And now the difficult part for us land-based is to actually fulfill that demand. Staff expense in Switzerland is really high. So to open a blackjack table costs you quite a lot of money in staff. And this is one of our biggest challenges. So now we created that demand from what we offer online. How do we now fulfill that in our land-based properties?
Yeah, very good. And David, any other thoughts?
I think in this discussion or this direction, one of the most important things is vocabulary. You know, we should stop selling and start serving customers. You want to sell them something because it's got a high margin. You want to sell them something because it's new. Now you have the opportunity with modern day technology to actually analyze the behavior, the understanding, and sell the customer something they want to buy. That customer will come back to you. That customer will reward you. And it's inconsequential whether they're a high-value customer or a low-value customer. They're a customer, and they are profitable for you. You need to retain them, look after them, educate them, and keep them happy.
I love that, because I think certainly in the online world, everybody's paying extortionate acquisition costs, crazy CACs, and very few people put enough focus on the retention element. In many cases, certainly in the casinos and the IRs, that's your one big advantage over your online-only competitors, is that you have got a database of existing customers and you need to communicate with them properly, and that's what the digital channel enables for you. So really good point, David. Anything to add on that, Jack, before I start to wrap up?
No, I think if you look at fan engagement models across other industries around retaining players, I think you're seeing businesses in the online space and operators more so becoming like entertainment brands and media brands rather than, you know, your traditional iGaming or online casino or sportsbook. You know, you see it more and more in the crypto world. Stake.com obviously bought out Kick, which is a streaming platform. And I think to retain players and to have some form of loyalty, I think the traditional ways of doing that are dying, and that you really need to think outside the box to retain players and to have that loyalty. But yeah, won't spend too much on it.
You know, it's very important. We are in the entertainment industry, and understanding our players and the lifetime value of our players and our database. You know, if a player plays 100 pesos a day with us and we retain him for 10 years,
yeah,
he's a VIP player. You know, his lifetime value to us is enormous. And I think the problem we have, and especially on the land-based industry, we look at players that come in with 100,000, spend it and leave, and we don't see them again. We need to understand our players a lot better and their real value.
It's really good. Guys, thank you. I'm going to start to wrap up. I just want to leave the audience with one final point, because I'm not charging consultancy fees for this, but to pick up on Marcel's point, the people that are key to your business and incentivizing your people. It's often the the one area that gets overlooked. And it's the one area why in my previous life operating we had success, is we incentivized every person in the organization based on digital play in the retail environment. So whether you were the valet, the cleaner, you shared, and we paid £1 million in bonuses just to set a foundation before we expected the revenue to come in. So it's all about that education foundational layer before you start to really expect great things in the digital channel. So guys, sorry for hijacking that, but thank you very much to everybody, and we'll see you over the next 2 days. Thank you.